A few points to note. We are not expecting a fire drill, so if the fire alarm sounds, please leave as quickly as you can, as soon as possible, through there or through there. The fire accidents and 7 points were in the car park at the front of the building, and the toilets are located in the foyer. Please could you turn off your mobile phones or put them to silent. We want everyone to be able to hear and respect whoever is speaking. Also, you should be aware that the meeting is being recorded, and the recording may be streamed on our social media channels. I will now ask for the members of the council and the committee to introduce themselves. By the way,
I am Samantha Brown, I'm a town councillor.
Rewind, that's town councillor.
Oh, sorry. Daniel Kelly Wilson, town councillor for Newton Lees and also chair of the full council.
Richard Graham, town councillor, and vice chairman of council.
Aisha. She's confused. We've got Aisha as well, so Aisha's is dialing in online. We've got
John Fairclough, as you know, deputy town clerk.
Okay. Right, so we are especially pleased to welcome members of the public who are here to observe the meeting, who are here to observe the meeting and make representations to the public speaking session. This is the formal meeting to be conducted according to our standing orders. This means members of the public may make representations during the public sessions only and may only speak from 1 to a maximum of 3 minutes. This allows us to clear our business. Usually, this agenda is usually pretty busy, not too bad tonight. However, if you'd like more time to talk to the council at more length, please take the opportunity to speak to us afterwards or contact us via the website or social media or pop into the team in Civil House. Okay, so we've got a full agenda today. So if we can just go through the normal, no, we'll go straight. We'll do the council's apologies for absence, any declarations of interest. We'll do the draft minutes, and then we'll bump you up to the order to do your presentation. So okay. So we could go to agenda item number 1, which is to note councillor's apologies for absence.
Councillor Palmer.
Thank you. So agenda item number 2, to note councillors' declarations of interest in matters on the agenda. Declaration of interest. So that's a no then. And on pages, item number 3, pages 1 and 2 are the draft minutes in the previous meeting, which were held on the 10th of October 2023. So we'll go through page 1 and page 2. I'll take that as a written confirmation that those minutes are approved. Okay, so what we'll do next is, if everyone's in agreement, that we'll go straight to item number 7, which is to receive a partnership progress report from the community larder at Water and Church Centre. So we've got Tim and Debbie with us tonight. So please, the floor is yours.
Okay, first of all, thanks for inviting us along to give you an update, a brief update. Hopefully you've all received our update pack that we've sent. A lot of details in there. My name's Tim May.
I'm Debbie Fletcher.
Okay, we're co-managers of the Water and Community Larder. You may remember from our previous update that we were exploring the possibility of becoming a separate larder. We are currently a Sophia Community Larder. However, we have gradually outgrown Sophia, and therefore it was agreed with Sophia in subsequent meetings that we would look at going on our own and doing our own larder. We therefore created a Water Eaton Community Hub, which oversees our larder, our Soup for the Soul Cafe, which we run prior to the larder, and our support services. So if we could have our first slide up, we've done some work on branding. We've had a lovely lady, Natalie, who's gifted some time to sort out our branding for us. And our first slide shows our basic logo that comes up.
Sorry, Chair, whilst we're waiting for the technology, can I raise an interest as a member of a Church of England church? I
Okay.
don't think it's a pecuniary thing, but there may be some items that come up within this presentation that you may need to know that for.
Actually, I think we both need to say an interest as well.
Yeah,
Both
it's-
members of the community larder.
But tonight's it's
I
just a
know, but
report.
if we just
So,
make a note.
Okay, so yeah, as you can see, this is the main topic is our main central logo. And obviously we have another line underneath, which basically says what we're about, sustaining people and caring for the planet. Okay, yeah, we've also got a new website that's going to be launching on the 9th of January, which is when we actually become our own individual Water Eaton community larder. Community hub larder, sorry. If we move on then to the next slide, which is the graph, this just shows you some of the progress that's been happening in the last nearly 12 months. You can see this shows average attendance. For the same period in 2022, we had an average attendance of 79 members. For the same period this year, we are at 102 members, which is an increase of 23%. So things are growing quite rapidly. And our overall membership has increased from 145 members to 235 members. So there's quite a substantial amount of growth there. A lot of that is obviously to do to the financial crisis, food poverty, things like that. There is further details, like I say, in the report if you want to read that. Hand over to Debbie for the final slide.
The majority of the information we like to give you is actually in the report, but we just wanted to tell you a couple of the things that we've been doing in the latter part of this year since we made the decision that we were going to become the hub. In September, we were 3 years old as a larder.
Really?
Yeah, and we held a corporate event where we invited all our current and prospective suppliers, businesses and charities to celebrate that event and the fact we were 3 years old. We held an auction and promise that night, which has been really successful. We've helped to raise the profile of the hub again in the local community, or business community, should I say. The picture shows an event we held recently at Networld Rail. We were invited to go along, and this is what they call their street, which is where people come around during their lunchtime, and they've got various cafes and restaurants and stuff. We sold homemade cakes, we had a raffle, and one of our volunteers made handmade Christmas baubles, which proved really successful. We've been asked to go back again next year. And that was in November, and then in December, the Lions Club of Stony Stratford have been very good to us and asked us if we would go and take part in a food collection at Morrison's, which we've been doing for the last 3 weeks. Thanks to the overwhelming generosity of the customers at Morrison's, we managed to receive 77 crates of food from them. So it goes towards the Christmas hampers appeal, which to let you know, we've been successful and we've raised £6,000, and we'll create 200 Christmas hampers starting this Thursday, which we will hand out on for the following Tuesday.
When you put them together?
Say that again to me.
When you put them together?
Thursday,
Friday, and then we'll put
Monday.
fresh vegetable bags together on Monday.
And then they'll be collected on the Tuesday the 19th. So they exit the larder.
We've tried to keep it very succinct. Is there any question?
So is Sophia's going now? Where are you going to source the food? Is it going to go straight to the supermarket?
We will still be partnering with them
Okay.
as a CFM, which is Community Food Member,
Okay.
which means that basically we will buy small amounts of excess food, so that will still be excess food. But we also have people that we've been having to partner with anyway, because we weren't able to get the volumes because we've been growing so much. So we've been partnering with different organisations, and we'll continue to do that and source others as well.
So, okay. Do you have any questions from members?
Congratulations, congratulations on your success. I hope it continues.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I think I was reduced to tears the last time
Yes.
you all came with regards to the work that you have been doing. You know, I think it's real success, and it does highlight the difficulties that some people are having. And you heard me kind of raise an interest earlier. So I am a practicing Christian, and I honestly hope that people find Jesus in their lives as a person. As a council, we have to be very, very careful that any kind of services that we fund are actually are actually secular in nature and not funding the bits. So I would just, with regards to the wrapping of the community hub and the merging of the services, including Soup for the Soul.
Yeah.
And I think it may have changed, but I think Steve had described that to me as having more of a spiritual connection, the Soup for the Soul session. How do we kind of ensure that as a council, we are funding the food aspect and not the other aspects?
Yeah, I can answer that very clearly. Soup for the Soul has its own budget and does its own fundraising to support their services. The people that attend the Soup for the Soul, majority are community larder members, but we also have many members of the community that attend the Soup for the Soul that actually aren't members of the larder. So they come in, and yes, there is a slight spiritual element to it. They do normally a sort of 10-minute reflection on a particular subject. But although the hub is the umbrella over that, it's actually not actually part of the funding of the larder. That is a separate, we have our own separate budget. They have their separate fundraising budget as well. Good. So they are a separate entity.
So thanks for that. I think it's just important for the public to know that we are funding one element, not.
Yes, good talk. Anyone else? Well, I was number 113 today, so it says a lot to the numbers.
You can see on the graph that actually numbers can be very up and down, depending on weather, depending on whether there's a half term, depending, there's very, very many variables. But yeah, it shows the average has gone up, like I say, from 79 to 102 in basically 11 months.
And it's still great. And volunteers are great, and it's always a very, running there for 10 minutes, but it's great to see everybody, and brilliant. Yeah. And it's a thriving, energetic, welcoming, and friendly environment as always.
Yeah, excellent.
It's great.
We are still growing. I mean, we wish we could tell you we weren't still growing, because it's not. To me personally, it's not a success story, the fact that we're growing as quickly as we are.
No.
I'd like it to be the other way around.
No.
And we had another 4 people join today.
Really?
So.
Yeah.
I know that last Christmas, Steve contacted me. I think it was literally on Christmas. Might have been after the last Tuesday, and I think it was coming up towards Christmas Eve. And he said, "Is there anybody you know who wants a hamper?"
Yeah, that's right. We had some
very last-minute ones that we were in Newton Mews, and they were all really appreciated, and everyone said that what great quality they really were. So my thanks for everything that you do.
Thank you, much appreciated.
Thank you very much. You're more than welcome to sit for the rest of the meeting, but you probably choose not to.
It's been a long day, especially larder day.
So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Okay, let's go on to item number 5 is to consider any plan application improvements examined by Milton Keynes Council. The first one being item 6, which is 232636 HOU 35 Stokes Road, Bletchley, Milton Keynes, MK2 3AB. So we go on to 6. This is a proposal for demolition of an existing rear extension and erection of a single-storey rear extension. Any thoughts on this one? So I propose we did a similar one from, I think it's number 25 in the last one. So by presidents, I propose that we now come in.
Yeah.
Seconder. All those for. That's sure. Okay, so we're going on to item number 8, to note a report on the Town Council funded counselling sessions. So this is on pages 19 to 22. So John, is that one over to you?
Yeah, it's just, this is just for noting, but they've put a report in there about kind of progress up and for the last 2 quarters. So we fund this as part of the service we provide to the community. So there's some information, some case studies. So you've probably read it already, but there's some information there about the kind of profiles they're getting, some case studies on who they're helping. But I've also put some information there about kind of the agreement we've got with them at the moment. So each quarter we will fund 18 referrals or residents to have counselling sessions with them. I think it's 9 sessions each. So it's just an update because it's going to be coming to a renewal at the end of March. So it's a good time to have a look, see what they're doing. If you think it's worthwhile, kind of continuing as we go on as well. But it's just a good update really in there.
We know a lot of feedback, haven't we, from the people who've received this counselling. It's all been amazing.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah, and I think there's some bits in there, some evaluation from people who have the.
Yeah.
It's all very positive.
Yeah,
and it's up to you guys if you think it's.
Okay. Any questions? I know it's just a note, but anything from the members?
Chair, I think it's really sad that today people are accessing services in this way, and they're not able to access them through the NHS. And I think this council decided that it was going to trial these counselling, and actually the more that we invest, I think the more that is taken up. But I think just reading some of the comments that are in the report, I think that it's worthwhile for us to be doing this, and it's great that people are now able to access this. And I think I'm quite surprised that actually even one of the most prevalent postcodes is MK35, which is Newton Leeds. And other people, some may think that it's not an area that has any issues. So I think big to the report, and I think it's worth us continuing.
Any other comments? No, I particularly like this one here. It says, "Council help me have an understanding of who I am and how I behave." This is that's really powerful, isn't it?
I think it's an asset really. Counselling. I'm actually going to train next year to become a counsellor. So I'm going to do that as well because I've had friends.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Item number 9 is this one. It's just to follow this one, John, isn't it? Or we've drawn this one now.
So number 9, that's going to be withdrawn, Chair, because we're not ready to present the information. So we're probably going to do that in February, if that's okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Item number 10. This is to receive an update report on the town council's digital heritage trial progress.
Yeah, so this is just a verbal update. So we're still waiting for the decision on the grant application we've put in. I've been told it's on the agenda this month for us to kind of find out. So it's not a massive update. However, by the end of this month, we should be told whether we've received or granted or not the money to do the digital trail. So I'm hopeful.
Any comments from any members? Okay, thank you, John. Item number 11. So this is to approve the winter funding programme of events and expenditure. So, okay, so this is on page 23 of your pack. This will be a new John.
Yeah, it's just Marie can help if she wants to. But this is the funding as we got last year. We've got it again this year, and it's up to this committee, the community committee, delegated decision to decide on how we spend that. So put together a bit of a plan. to kind of look at the warm spaces we did last year. So we did the bingo, we did the warm spaces, we did the brunch, the movie Mondays. So I put together a bit of a, working with Councillor Weimer on doing that again, repeating that activity. There's also some information about the home energy MK housewarming sessions as well. That are going to be happening at Bletchley Library. We're going to be supporting that. There's some more information in there and a leaflet on that attached with the report. I've also proposing some MK Money Lifeline sessions to drop in at probably a couple of locations if possible. I'll speak to Stephen and Nish, got a hand up. So there's a few options that we can run with, but which I've kind of documented there. There is still some spare money after that as well. So after we kind of go ahead with these activities, there's still a bit more money that we could use. So I'm open to suggestions to kind of see how we can use that effectively. But you know, we want this to kind of run from January to March, and provide kind of these warm spaces and services that people can access and kind of benefit from in kind of, you know, when kind of the hard months of the year, so to speak. I noticed Dealey's got a hand up, Chair, so I don't know.
Yeah, Dealey, you're up to
Thank you. I just wanted to point out that I've had an email today asking for confirmation of the programme. So we really do need from Milton Keynes, because they want to include it in their winter plan publication. So we are sort of going up to the wire in terms of finalising the plan, because they're obviously keen to publish it. So I just wanted to draw attention to that in case there's any danger of what's the word? I'm trying to find the right word. Delaying. Thank you. Delaying. Yeah. Thank you very much.
anything from the radio? Anything, because you're the sort of main.
I just know the demand is there, and I just think this is something that we should support, because I've had people ask me about it already, so I know that the need is there, definitely.
It was great last year what you did with the I went to the bingo. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was really, really good.
They are all well attended to the limit, though. You can't get anyone else through the door. So.
My only comment is, we're understanding by 1,500 quid. Is there anything else that we can do?
Potentially it's a bit more than
potentially there is, but we're just trying to go over.
I know we had flood blankets, didn't we, last year?
So for me, we've got £2,600 underspend from last year, according to the paper. Plus, we are not spending by 1,500 quid, so that's another 4.
We haven't put on the warm packs, so we haven't put on things like duvets, blankets, etc. this time. So that can always be added if there was no other decision about it.
Do we not do, like Rory and do the vouchers, the top-up vouchers? We don't do anything like that for electric and that. Somebody's desperate.
That's a proper company that does it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's a proper funded company.
Oh, I didn't know that. I just no idea that was good.
Could I make so if we're going to accept this, can I just make a proposal or amendment, which is, I think, for me, if this is something that we're serious about, we should put all in, and we should spend the money. I'm not sure that that as a council we can actually give people electric vouchers or stuff like that, but we can help.
We can do warm packs.
We can help with warm packs. And I think that maybe what we should do is accept this, and then also ask the chair and vice chair of this committee to come back with a proposal to spend that money via email that we can all agree to. But on the basis that it might be warm packs or whatever.
Thanks, Dada. That's fine.
So we're going to agree this though.
No, we're going to agree this tonight.
Agree this.
So the reason I want to amend it is so that actually we don't have to come back to another meeting to discuss it.
Okay.
So I think what I'm saying is that we accept this. Plus, we know that in total there is £4,000, and we will agree what the £4,000. We are setting an overall budget of the 4. So in total, it will be £12,000. and or 12,670.
Yeah.
And then, but we just agree what the warm packs are or the items are up there.
Yeah, fine.
So all those in favour of that? Yeah, and that's it. What sort of timescales do you need?
I just do you did it quickly. Did you have it? Is that an old hand up or a new one?
No, it's a new hand. Just to point out that if we don't spend the money, we have to give it back to Milton Keynes City Council. So we do need to spend it. We do need to agree services for that additional amount.
I'm sure we can do it. Timescales, Marie, to get it up and running.
No, sorry, I was just going to ask if there was enough in the budget, which I think there would be, to include another activity. Would people be okay for that? To add a fourth activity?
What would it be? Any?
I would be in the email.
Okay.
No, I have an inkling, but I do.
So a similar activity, similar to the movie night or the bingo night or a warm evening. If we can squeeze it into the budget, you were thinking of doing another one. Would that be for the 12 weeks, or would that be kind of every couple of weeks, or what are you thinking?
Get back to you.
Okay.
What about that? And also, what about the people who can't attend those sort of events?
Exactly. Let me have a little thing.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
it's very good. So we've got them.
Yes. Timescales, Marie is setting up as we speak with my support.
Brian,
Very good. Thank you. Okay. So this is now item 12, which is in your packet, page 29 to 34, to review the 24-25 events programme.
I can speak on this chair, that's okay.
Yeah,
the community events officers has put this together. Essentially, there's a bit of a revision to it. So we in October, we had an events calendar presented to us. And there's been a slight change in the sense that there's two kind of events that have been, I guess, suggested to be removed or proposed to be removed. The one, you'll see them in the report here. So it's Diwali and Earth Day that are kind of coming out. And the rest are kind of were presented last time in October to everybody. Number of reasons that you can see in the report. The Earth Day, there's an opinion that sustainability and environmental impacts are not the highest concern of the residents, so it might not be well attended. There's a concern there. Diwali, I think it's about resource as well, having enough people to kind of put these events on, the amount of events on throughout the year, and the staff there to do it, especially kind of Diwali at that time of year when the other events are kind of close together as well. So the community events officer has put together kind of an amendment just to that calendar. Yeah, apologies not being able to make it tonight. What's that?
Just it starts from July 24. I just wondered where the list was.
It's 24 and 25. So you've got 20 financial year. So Easter falls in the following year. So we had two this year. So that's why you won't see Easter on there, because there's two Easters. So July is the kind of the first event of the financial year.
Oh, 24.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think the vegan market's been confirmed for the May time, but I'm still waiting to hear about that. But that doesn't really cost us anything.
I think it was always quite an aggressive timetable, considering the limited resource we've got to support them as well. So I can sort of see why Davina sort of said this might not be sustainable considering the resource we got. Is there any comments from the members?
Can I just on that as well, to add the Halloween event, there's two options. There's the Halloween event, which we had in the town, or there's an option which Davina was suggesting to do a more of like a pumpkin patch, which would be slightly more money, but obviously very attractive to people who can't perhaps access it. But again, it's up to you. But there's two options there. The Halloween in Queensway will be slightly cheaper. However, if you're looking at a pumpkin patch,
are some of these dates still up for debatable dates? Because
absolutely, yeah. If you want to, you can bring them up. Is there any particular date?
Yeah, the Christmas one's a bit of a
Christmas. So December the so okay. So this is the first Saturday, isn't it, in December? We've done previously.
Yeah, I know, but because it's gone later, that would lean on someone else's Christmas. So I'm just thought you was trying to stick to not being on another local event,
Okay.
basically.
Oh, okay.
I quite like the idea of the
Because it's gone later,
Yeah,
just the way the month's gone.
I do with that.
I think that's
It's
quite
not
novel.
many kids can
No,
travel to go.
no, the one we went to was in Stony, which is a
Yeah.
fair trek
I
away.
think
with
there's
the
one on the
transport.
outskirts down Buckingham Way.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know how many people, how many residents, the kids around there get to go to a pumpkin patch. So I quite like the idea of that.
And they can stay for a while. They can, it become more of an event rather than just pop out.
So there will be a slight amendment in the budget we originally
That's a really good
kind
idea.
of spoke
Yeah,
about.
I like that idea as well.
You can source of payment from somewhere.
I think Davina's done it before as well, so she's got, she did it at a previous place, so
Well, that's handy.
that's already.
That's all right.
We've got brought them down. Yeah. That's good. No, it's, any questions from the members?
I think it was a really good event. I think that there is some organisation feedback, but I think it's probably better that we.
Are we going on to Christmas now?
Oh, sorry.
No, it's just on the
This is just,
calendar.
because that's the next week.
Ethan's
You're
getting-
jumping the gun. Come on.
Ethan's getting ahead.
Just, yeah, so it's,
So, so personally, I think, this from Davina, and is a decision required?
I
Is it
think it's
approval or it's just a note?
well, it's just to support, I guess, support these. Yeah,
Yeah.
so, and then it can, might be a slight amendment in the budget that was,
No,
I guess it'd be a reduction. to
Yes.
What was originally, but again, staffing will have to go on that as well, but we know about
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
so, yeah, that's good with that, thank you very much.
that.
So item number 13, to receive a report on the Christmas event held on the 2nd of December 2023 and note councillor feedback. So I'll kick off. I think it was a good event. I think it's always good to try out new ideas. Otherwise, you don't think things get stale. But then again, I think there's some tried and tested things which residents in St Bletchley that they like, and we should stick to them probably a bit more than sort of we did. But saying that, it was a bitterly cold day, so anything you did try and do, I think the impact on it was absolutely freezing that day. So you could have done a multitude of things, but you probably wouldn't have had the footfall because of the weather being so cold. But it would have certainly dissuaded a few people from venturing out because it was bitterly cold. So overall, I think it was a good event.
Can I thank all the staff that worked all day and the councillors too? I actually had to take my son home. I think it was about 3 o'clock because he had moaned for the entire last hour. And was literally frozen. And so I just want to thank you that everybody else carried on. Yeah, it was a cold day.
I went to Family Bell from Hamilton's because it was absolutely freezing.
I done that one year when I used to.
So I think that as an event, for the whole of that high street was a long walk.
Yeah.
2, I think that the stage down at Elizabeth Squares was underused because everything else was possibly up the other end, the main stage.
Yeah.
So it was underused where subsequently when the comedians and the acts were on stage, there was only a few people sitting down watching them. And on a cold day like that,
It's bracing.
are we doing too much?
Yeah.
Should we have more things for the kids to do more than try and put on acts and bands and
I think
other activities, considering the main stage is where everybody was and it's a long walk the whole of that high street. Could we condense it? Your feedback.
I was going to say that I agree with everything Richard said. I think that we have to remember that. So I think we tried to apply the big street eat to Christmas, and I think maybe during the summer, people might have a little bit more money than they do at Christmas. And on the day, it felt like there was just lots of food.
Yes.
But it was lots of, you know, I did have very nice curry goat, and Raymond had very nice jerk chicken. But for the two of us, it was £20. And I kind of just worry that we've got to remember why we do these things. And actually, I think the Christmas event is about something for the children that is not so expensive. And I totally agree with some of the points that have been given in this feedback. Like, for instance, we had the train, but could we have had other things to do for the children? That because actually it felt, apart from the pantomime and the train and what was on the stage and the Santa, that it was just lots of food. And I think for not a lot to keep the children engaged. And it's even harder when it's cold. I think that we ended up with this situation. I also agree that the event footprint needs to be more compact, because it felt like people were either at, you know, for the whole day at one end or the other. And I think actually it might have been better to have one stage and maybe have a shorter pantomime, you know, and have that kind of on the main stage rather than trying to have that separate, because it would have kept everybody in one area. But you know, I am really searching for things that, you know, I don't want people to think that it was all completely negative. No, because it wasn't.
It's not.
Just
Again, I don't think it's negative feedback. It's constructive feedback. I think, you know, walking from one end to the other was a mission. It was a mission.
Oh, it was
cold. Could we? I think that the event, like Ethan said, you know, the traders come out and it's just over expensive to buy any food. The biggest street eats for that, I think, if people want to taste food and this and that and whatever. But could we have things like more dressed up characters?
Yeah, the characters
for the kids to parade around the streets, and there's, you know, Snow White and Seven Dwarfs running around the streets type situation, keeping the kids happy, interacting with the kids and stuff like that. A bit more theatrics more than food.
Well, I was quite blown away last year. I walked around the corner and saw the big Ferris wheel down Elizabeth Square. I thought, that looks so good, you know, made it feel really, really good. Delia, sorry, you got your hand up.
Thank you. Yes, I agree with all the feedback that's been given, and I think most of what's been said is already in John's report, and certainly as an officer team, we've talked about all the points that have been raised tonight. I just wanted to clarify that the reason that one of the stages was underused was because we were let down by a couple of performers who did not appear, and so we had more sort of DJ music rather than performances, and I think that had an impact. But I think, yes, it's very hard to have stages at either end, and I agree with condensing it and deciding on one end or the other. But for me, what all this brings us back to is the importance of the committee having more hands-on active involvement throughout the planning, and also just being really, really clear about what the focus of the event was. And I think maybe that was lost a bit, that it was meant to be so family oriented, and that was somehow lost a bit in the planning. So yeah, I think there's a lot to learn. Not to say it was a bad event or anything, but I think there was quite a lot we can take from it and do slightly differently.
I did get feedback from the chief executive of TPA. They thought the kids all really, the children who were there really enjoyed it. They thought the free grotto was really great. It'd be nice if they stayed a bit longer because there's sort of a lack of thing. But the feedback from the school was really, really good, positive.
I actually think that having So when we opened this pavilion, we worked with the Residents Association to put on an opening event, and actually it's getting the kids to perform brings the footfall.
It does.
So
Yeah.
I think that, you know, maybe we could be doing different things with like a number of schools starting throughout the day, because then it's not just like TPA. If there are other schools in the area, that's bringing more children into, because the parents come, and maybe when the parents are here, they spend a little bit of money on the high street as well, or they have to think. I just have one concern on this report, and actually I think it's actually about extending the event timing. I don't know whether it's extending the event timing or changing the event timing. So it's actually earlier. But I think that we have to be very careful. So I know that I turned up right on my cue time to kind of do what I needed to do, and there were people who had already done 5 hours worth of work that day. I think we've just got to be really, really careful about our expectation on the staff team, and I think next year we maybe need to, you know, if we need more numbers or more things, we might kind of have to think about, do we bring in professional event staff to actually do things like put tables out, put chairs out, put things, because I think it could add a little bit to the budget. But, you know, I know that when I left at 4 o'clock, some people have done more than a whole work day, and I just don't think that that is sustainable.
So have we got access to volunteers inside the community to help the staff team?
What do you mean access? What do you mean access to them?
Well, access to volunteers, just volunteer groups. You know, have we explored, you know, different community groups or whatever that might want to come and help?
Delia, do you want to come into that one?
I've got a suggestion.
Delia?
Sorry, I was going to let Ethan go first.
I'm going to say, maybe we want to go to the, you know, we should be going to the people that we support through grants and say, this is your opportunity to give back. We're going to do a Christmas event, and I don't think we should do it for every event, but basically, do you have any volunteers that could support us by putting a few tables and chairs out, or whatever we need to do? And then we kind of, you know, we start making a list of the people that come. We perhaps give them a little goodie bag or reward, or get them lunch or breakfast or whatever. And we keep in contact with these people, and we start building a network of volunteer people, just like they've done at Fenny Poppers.
Is there an army cadet force or anything like that?
I think there is. I think there's a TA in just over the bridge, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
There's a TA centre there.
We have
Boys Brigade.
we have used the cadets before. It's easier on the whole to get them in the summer than at Christmas, because they are busier at Christmas, as are the majority of volunteers. But there is you know, it's definitely an area that we can work on, developing more volunteers. But if you recall, we did discuss at the last full council, when we were talking about the budget, the fact that we needed to include an increased staffing budget, either to pay existing members of staff, or, because of the scale of the events and the size of our team, to employ other people, whether it's volunteers, which bring their own costs and management issues, or casual workers to assist with these events, because we do have a small team. And you know, we did have help from some councillors on the day, which was very greatly appreciated, but I felt very concerned about the well-being of some of our councillors who are not, you know, I'm sure they won't mind me saying, some not in the first flush of youth and working a really long shift in the afternoon in the freezing cold.
I know, Terry, you did so well. You tried
Yeah.
so well.
Wasn't thinking of Terry particularly, but there were others who you know, we have to think about everybody, don't we? And
absolutely
you know,
right.
about well-being and safety.
True.
With any event, it takes X amount of time to set up. But some of the guys when you were supposed to be on stage, they weren't truly set up on the main stage. They weren't ready. There was still power issues running into shops, but that wasn't supposed to be running into shops. That were running into shops, and we had to pull that lead out, and fix it to a lamppost, and bring the power. So there was some logistical issues that was there on the day, you know, and it was blacking out one of the shops on High Street. So you have to make sure and ensure that we get our logistics right, but that logistic takes time. So it really is about working out how long it's going to take to set up before we commence whatever we're doing. So
well, we had ample time. We had ample time in terms of setup. There will always be the occasional issue on the day that you can't predict. So you will always get the odd thing. We had sufficient time. What I would say we didn't have was sufficient people. And I don't think there were enough people either before or at the end, during the period before or during or at the end. I felt it was under-resourced in terms of bodies, and that concerns me for a number of reasons. But I think it's something we definitely need to look at for next year.
I just want to come back and say, I personally favour spending money to have people. Because even if we have volunteers, I want people to feel, to have some reward for having done it. I also think that with some of these events, particularly the Christmas one and potentially the Big Street Eat, obviously lots of you may know that I was one of the organisers of Luton Carnival for about 8 years, and we used professional event management on the day, because it's really hard for you to be a counsellor and to talk to people and to manage the event, or for you to be doing your job and to manage the event, and think of all of those risks that are kind of happening on the street. And so I think it is something that we probably want to take away and talk about whether that could be an improvement, so people aren't wearing too many hats.
And actually, if we can pull together a working group in the summer to start pulling this together, I think it helps a lot more than going through via committee like we did. Last
I mean, not taking anything away from what Ethan's just said, but we have to try, because we've got a budget constraints and precepts. Spending more money is something that I'm a bit conscious about. We have to develop the community, and we can't take everything all on our own shoulders and trying to do everything ourselves as a council. As a council, we're doing a lot of this. One, we're spending the public's money. Two, we should be engaging more with the community and accessing the community to be actually sustainable as a council. So we have to tap into other resources other than just our own. And if we don't do that, we're never going to develop the public and get them on side with us doing what we want to do for them. And that's the issue that I've got. We've got to try and get more community-based people helping the council, providing services for them. So that is something that we've just got to pick up. I do hear what Ethan's saying about spending money, but I'm also conscious about our own budget, and you've just got to be able to develop that. I'm not saying it's going to work, but we've just got to develop it and go down that road and see if it's feasible or not.
Any other comments? Okay, so
I did have, but it's kind of overgone now.
no,
I feel like, you said it all. No, can I just quickly feedback on the Christmas event, because I feel like I've not said nothing. So I don't personally think that you need to shorten the event. I just think we need more activity stuff. Bring back the fair rides, bring back the Ferris wheel. That went all down the bottom. Only have one bandstand with all the entertainment on one bandstand. More stalls, For some reason, we were lacking
Buy
craft
stuff,
stalls this
yeah.
time. There was hardly any, and less food stalls. If we got food stalls, cheaper food stalls. And yeah, that's my say.
We did
More
both
kids'
sides, didn't we?
activities. So what we had last year with Louise, got the outside entertainers, you know, that were doing like, what was it? We had?
Skaters.
Yeah, skaters. We had different activity, polar bears, Ice Queen. We had the costumes. That kind of stuff needs to come back. More children related, like you've all said, and bring it more, even though like an advanced school fair. So like school, but a bit higher and bigger. That's my feedback.
I thought it was quite good. Was the snow machine at the end? That was really, really good. That was quite a nice one.
I didn't miss it.
Thanks.
Thank you. Oh, is there any other feedback? And I've got a few notes, but if you can send them to John, then we can get our comments as well. But I think they'll all be in line with what the public have said as well.
Yeah, it's good.
And what you guys have picked up already from David. Thank you anyway. It was a good event, and we've got some really good feedback. Okay, we're now on to the last item on the agenda, which is to note the report showing the income and expenditure against budget, which falls within the remit of this committee. So, John, what are we in finances?
Just for kind of denoting, really, if you've got any comments or anything you want to talk about, please do.
Okay, I don't trust, but no. We've got some comments on the budget, but that's a different one, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Any comments from members? I was just happy to note this.
I think we discussed it at the last finance meeting. We discussed that we've not spent any money on the Citizens Advice Bureau, and I know that MK Money Lifeline, we're doing some events within the warm spaces stuff. I noticed in their report that they would also like to kind of work. They also would hope that it would lead to something bigger, and I don't know if perhaps we can get some feedback from how they work at these warm events to see if that is worth doing.
Yeah, they actually, so they work with West Bletchley Council, and I think they do a 1 day a week out of the council offices up there on a Tuesday. They run like a 12-month contract with them. I think feedback, it's going really well, and they see a lot of
Aren't they already in Warrington training?
They do a drop in, don't they, in the afternoon, don't they?
Regularly.
They do it every Tuesday, don't they?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, no, she's goes inside of them.
Which committee talks about the free swimming?
We did.
Free. So
About that.
yeah, I just wanted to see probably for next time a report on the free swimming and how people in this community are engaging with that, because that's always been sort of like a contentious issue over the years, but we're providing it again now. I just wanted to see a little bit of a feedback report.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Update on that. Just see how it's attending, who's attending. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not the same company that's providing services, is it? And they were a bit lackluster in respect of
The swimming, you mean?
the free swimming here.
Inspire All. Yeah.
Is it the same company?
So they used to be Hertsmere Leisure.
That's right. Yeah.
When they were Hertsmere Leisure,
They were difficult.
we
couldn't get no information.
We stopped the contract.
That's right. Yeah.
But they had a management change. They rebranded as Inspire All, and I think that we went back to them. I think John said that actually the management information that we've got since we've come back to them has actually been of a better standard than we got before.
Yeah. There's still a few issues, but which you've kind of pointed out before around who postcodes and proof of those.
But
it's a lot.
We were getting postcodes in Coffee Hall.
Yeah. So that's not happening.
Yeah.
Ilya.
Well, just to say that, you don't need to wait for a committee meeting if you want to see that kind of information. Anytime you want to see any of the management reports on any of the services, they're available at all times. I mean, I think, John, it should be a regular standing item on the agenda, probably for the community committee, that there's a service report for swimming quarterly, or, alternate meetings or whatever the committee decides. But we do we do receive the reports, we do check them, we do raise the issues when, I mean, that's how we know there are the odd issues with postcodes. So it's not like we're not monitoring it, we certainly are.
Oh, you know, 100%. I mean, it should be that standing so that we can just review. That's all it is, really, to be having a look at it and see how well it's doing or not doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I know the staff team regularly looks at everything anyway. It's just a case of this committee still needs to cast their eye over it, I think.
I'd also thought, I know it's not on the agenda, but also some of the recipients of the grants we've given, it'd be nice to get some feedback to see how that money was used and the benefits they got from it, so then we can actually use it for our sort of socials, but our sort of publicity as well. So
it's all lately, have we?
no, we've got really.
I think we have to go and find, we have to ask for it, which, you know, they should provide it, but they don't.
It's always been part of the grant application that they were supposed to come back and listen.
It's in the criteria.
Which is in the criteria.
Open the door and say, right, okay,
You know,
what did you do? And we can use it, you know, in testament.
I think it's nice that they, you know, the LADA came and gave a little bit of feedback. We've had the feedback from them before, didn't we?
Yes.
Which is always good to see that, because you know, they're very appreciative. But we shouldn't be getting that from everybody else that we give money out to. It justifies why we're giving them the money, sure.
Absolutely right. Right. Okay. So that's the agenda complete. So I'm going to declare the meeting closed at 26 minutes past 8. Thank you so much everyone for coming. Thank you, Delia, Aisha, for dialing in online. Yeah, thank you very much. And when's the next meeting, John?
February the 2 seconds. I will go. The 13th, I believe.
Have a lovely Christmas. We're the last committee.
I think we are.
Yeah, 13th.